first of all, it's your first World Cup, obviously. How excited are you to be out here in New Zealand?
Yeah, like if you asked me a year ago, I would never have dreamt of being in the squad and even playing. Like, it's just crazy, and I'm so excited for the rest of the tournament. Hopefully bring home the trophy. Just very excited, really.
You had quite a meteoric rise kind of at this point. You obviously made your debut against Blackburn probably nearly a year ago, maybe just a little bit less now.
Yeah.
So can you just talk us through that rise from making your debut in that game all the way to being here at a World Cup?
Yeah, I think I kind of like took every opportunity I could get. Like I didn't take it for granted, sort of thing. Just wanted to do each game as it comes. I didn't really think about the World Cup until pre-season, and then I was just like, I just made sure to work hard, try and show myself in Prem games and in England. So gave myself the best chance of selection.
You were an apprentice player before you debuted. How was that experience in the Matchday squad, and also a Grand Slam winning Matchday squad before you even made your debut?
Yeah, I think sometimes, like being a non-playing reserve, you think, I'm got to do everything but not play. But because I hadn't experienced playing at all, I loved it. I loved being around the squad. Like, it got me so well prepared for coming in and starting and playing in the autumns. So I was actually so grateful that happened, and I still was a part of that squad, and I think it just made me appreciate playing a bit more.
You think it gave you a drive to kind of make your debut? Obviously you knew you were in and around that squad, but to actually go on and make that first debut?
Yeah, I think that I just basically, I didn't think I wanted to play for like the seniors until a few years, but then once you've got a little taste of it, you're like, no, I actually do want to play now.
And obviously, just quickly away from England, you've moved to Gloucester Hartpury for this upcoming season. How did that move kind of come about, and what drove you to make that move?
Yeah, I just finished uni. I have been at Wasps now 4 years. I've only ever been at Wasps for senior rugby, so I kind of just wanted a change, and actually Linny approached me and a few other clubs did, but I just thought Gloucester was the right fit for me. It's similar like culture to Wasps, but also got that professional element, so it was just really exciting. And
just away from the pitch, obviously you're here in New Zealand, completely different kind of culture to England. I think we've experienced that being here covering the tournament, but how have you enjoyed just exploring new places? You were at the waterfalls up here in Whangarei yesterday. How you enjoyed that kind of bit?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's quite similar to England in the fact it's quite similar with the culture, but also it's got, the waterfalls 5 minutes away, and like Auckland was so nice, it had loads of coffee shops and stuff like that, but also I'm really enjoying, I can't say this name, Whangarei, I think it is. I thought it was going to be like completely isolated, but it's actually got like quite a lot of bits and bobs, the nature here is amazing, and I'm very excited for the next few weeks on our off days, but obviously we're here to do a job, and I'm excited for what's to come.
And you're rooming with Lucy Packer. I saw you put on Instagram yesterday that you're struggling for Netflix series. What have you been kind of watching to pass that time so far?
We've been watching a really weird series called OA. I don't know if you've heard of it. I don't even know how to describe it, but like Sadia recommended it, and Sadia throughout it got really emotional, and me and Luce were literally just cracking up the whole time because they have to do this weird cultural dance thing, and it's really weird, but.
And Midge was telling us just before that you played beach cricket on the way up here to Auckland, and it's been told about in the news before about your former cricket career. So first of all, how was that? How do you think your cricket skills have turned over into rugby, and how did you go on in the beach cricket the other day?
Yeah, I did do county cricket or whatever, but I was always like a fielder. I never did batting or bowling. I wasn't that good at either. I'd come on middle of the range in the batting order to just try and whack it, and I'd either get out first ball or get a few runs. I think where it relates to rugby is my probably hand-eye coordination, that sort of things, catching, passing. And the team element, I'd say. I've always been quite a team person, and I think that's translated into rugby. And the beach cricket went quite well. I think we won. I can't even remember who won.
Midge was moaning that you beat him in the last ball.
Oh yeah, we did. I slogged a and yeah, it was a successful day on the beach.
And just finally, you're one of the younger players in this squad, and obviously there's the experienced heads of Sarah and Scarrett. Do you feel like there's being one of the younger players, you bring a little bit of energy and kind of vibe, not that's a horrible word, kind of a vibe to the squad?
Yeah, I think there's a great mix of players in this squad. Like everyone brings their own different type of energy, like Bots and Burner, that sort of crew. But yeah, I think I just try and be as positive as I can, really.
The week of France, probably the biggest game that you'll be facing on the way to a final potentially. How has the kind of prep been since the first game against Fiji?
Yeah, it's very similar. You know, each week you've only got a week to plan, so you've got to make sure that you're training hard, you're getting the recovery in, and you're ready to go again. So very similar to last week, but it's been a strong week of training for us this week.
And how much have you enjoyed kind of the move up from Auckland to Whangarei? Obviously, it's very different. Auckland's massive city, it's all great greenery, different kind of scenery as well. So how have you enjoyed that move?
I've much preferred it here in Whangarei, like just having the greenery around, having the option to then go to waterfalls or like see the harbour side and stuff like that. For me, that's a much nicer environment. Like I did enjoy Auckland, great food, great coffee shops, but sometimes it felt a little bit enclosed because I couldn't quite get out of that city. So for me, definitely much preferred it.
And I think a lot of people told us that the coffee in New Zealand is supposed to be really good. Have you noticed a bit of a difference from over in the UK?
They ask what size a flat white is, which makes me nervous, but I actually just drink Americanos, but it's really nice. There's a lot of really cool coffee shops and they always have good bakeries, so that's very good.
Yeah, and obviously it's not your first World Cup. Do you feel like there's a little bit of a difference in the way women's rugby is growing at this World Cup? Obviously it's grown so much since 2017 in Ireland, so do you think it's kind of grown so much since then?
Yeah, it's definitely grown. Like I was saying earlier, like just walking around, like people are saying, "Oh, good luck, girls," and even if we're not in kit, they know that who we are and what we're playing. So to have that kind of environment around us is amazing. And also at home, so many people are messaging. I know they're like in the middle of the night, but like this game's in the morning, and are messaging and saying, "Oh, I watched this. I was really impressed with like this." And so yeah, it's definitely got such momentum at the moment. So hopefully it can carry on.
And you're one of the players in the squad. Obviously, there's a lot in the Welsh squad who've come through that kind of Bucks rugby pathway. You were at the University of Gloucestershire and Hartpury. How do you think that pathway is important for the women's game?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important. One, it's really, really fun, and that's what rugby is at the end of the day. It's about family and friends and creating that good atmosphere, and Bucks is definitely that place you can do that. And a lot of the other rugby girls, picked it up in that time, so it's definitely important to have that. I was fortunate enough to be, in rugby through my whole childhood and through my career and through the RFE pathway as well. So it's good to have that real strong side of this is what it's like to be professional and this is what you should admire to, but then also have that side where this is the other side where it's fun and you have this time to enjoy and build something really special with the team and get to those Bucks finals and play in Twickenham, and that kind of thing is very, very valuable as well.
I think that Bucks squad you played in for Gloucestershire, still so many that side playing the Premier 15s now. Do you think it's nice to see that people you played with back then are still playing in a really high level?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, if people have just picked up a uni and have given it a go, really enjoyed the Bucks League and then come through into those pathways like the ones that Gloucester Hartpury and Loughborough have, and yeah, it's great to see them all still playing, and if that's the way we can keep people interested in the sport or even grow the sport, then I definitely think that's something we should be investing in.
Week of France, one of the biggest games England will probably face outside of the Black Ferns. How excited are you to get going?
Yeah, really excited. I think it's always a massive game, isn't it, against France? We've obviously played them quite a few times and have come on the right side of the result, but we really can't rest on that. We can't take those results for granted. We've really got to go at them this weekend and really put our best foot forward and put out a better performance than we did against Fiji and keep going.
How excited are you just to be here at a World Cup? Obviously out in New Zealand, different side of the world, 12-hour time difference. So how are you finding that kind of adjustment? Also, how exciting are you finding it?
It was tough in the first couple of days. I think obviously it's a big time shift, but yeah, really excited to be out here. I've never been over here, so real good to explore sort of this side of the world, and hopefully it can be a good memory for us.
And obviously the women's rugby's grown so much since that last World Cup, even into the last few years, and with the growth of the Premier 15s, how important do you think this World Cup and a potential Red Roses win could be?
Yeah, it's massive. Whether whatever the outcome is for us, I think it's really started to build now, and obviously the next World Cup being a home World Cup is really special as well. So I just think it's just going to keep growing. At no point is it going to go backwards. So yeah, we've just got to keep on getting on the right side of the results, because that obviously always helps support, and yeah, hopefully we do well at this World Cup and we can take it into the home one coming forward.
Do you feel that kind of being one of the younger generation in this squad and then being part of this growth, do you feel kind of proud to be a part of the growth of women's rugby?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of us have sort of hopped on the back of a load of generations before us that have done incredible work, and I think it's incredible to be a part of history when it's becoming so much bigger. But we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for people 20, 30 years ago, maybe not 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that laid the foundations for us. So yeah, incredibly sort of privileged to be part of this journey, but the people before us did a lot.
And do you think the younger generation, obviously yourself, Maud, people like Lucy Packer, Shauna, who have that kind of...
Shauna?
Not, I didn't mean young, but you know
Shauna?
What? You have the Instagram reach, is what I was trying to go for.
Yeah.
Do you think them inspiring the next generation, do you think that's important, and kind of having your own media profile, your own Instagram reach, that's something that you value to help progress the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously social media is such a big thing, isn't it? So having big social platforms where you can reach out to fans and interact with them and speak to them is really important, and it probably has grown the game as well. Not only sort of the outreach that social media can get, but like I said, the interaction with the fans that we can have, and so yeah, I think it's incredibly important that we have those platforms. And obviously some people's are a lot bigger than others, but no matter where you sit on that spectrum, there's always going to be a little girl or boy that is your biggest fan, and it allows you to interact or even speak to them, and just sort of inspire that next generation.
And you spoke about fans. Obviously there's quite a few English supporters over, Welsh supporters over, Scottish supporters. How nice is it to have, even though we're on the other side of the world, to have those fans there, and also the players from teams you play for? Obviously George Evans played for Wales. I think a few of the girls went to watch them on Sunday. How important do you think, and how nice is it to have them over here as well?
Yeah, I just think the rugby communities, it's a big one. It's obviously quite big, but through like playing with each other at club and stuff, it really creates sort of special bonds with people. And obviously, yeah, it's different teams and stuff, and obviously you want your team to win, but ultimately at the end of it, you make some pretty good friends in rugby, so sometimes you don't really care who you're supporting. So yeah, it's been really great, and also having them out here as well, experiencing it probably differently, but experiencing it with one another is really special.
So Abby, obviously out here in New Zealand, week of France, probably one of the biggest games in the Red Roses calendar. How excited are you?
Oh yeah, beyond excited. This is why we train like we do, to play teams like this. They bring a completely different game to probably what we had with Fiji, and I think we thrive in really taking on different challenges. So different challenge, different week, and we're just ready to go out there and perform to the best we can. And obviously the comeback from injury for you, it's been talked about so much in the past couple of weeks. So just quickly, how were your emotions getting back on that pitch last week? I was definitely, I can definitely say I was nervous on the bench, and there were times in that match when I was seeing some crunching tackles and I was like, maybe not for me. But I just remember like Collie Aitchison was beside me, and it was like my turn to go up, and she was like, mate, you've got it, just get on the pitch and you'll be fine. And I think as soon as you do walk onto the pitch, you're like, I know exactly what to do. Like in terms of I've got enough caps under my belt, and I've got enough training from years and years of playing at Wasps to realise that actually I can play rugby and play the game and love the game. So yeah.
And you scored with essentially your first touch as well, wasn't it? I think
so, yeah.
And how nice was that, obviously, to just get back to do what you do best as well?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was actually really nice, and I think the support that I had from that try is just highlighting how much support I've had throughout the whole process. the support from fans, the support from family, support from coaches and players here has been overwhelming in such a good way, like in like really pushing me forward, and then to almost be able to be like, I'm doing this for everyone, like to show that actually it was all worth it, I was worth investing your time into me by scoring a try. It kind of helped. Hopefully I'll do more than just score one try though.
Yeah. And when do you think you kind of finally realised that you were going to this World Cup? Obviously there must have been times during your journey when you think, oh, it's impossible, but when did you finally realise that's I'm going to be going to New Zealand?
Probably wasn't a real life situation, but I do remember when just before I went into the surgery, I asked Emily, being like, will I make the World Cup? Obviously $1 million question straight away, and she was just like, let's just get through surgery. And then afterwards, I was like, will I make the World Cup then? And she was like, we're going to give it a try. And I clung to that very unlikely chance. So I think I realised I was going to get myself somehow on that plane with that small percentage.
The UK Armed Forces are out here in New Zealand while you're out here for the World Cup. Have you ever had much chance to catch up with them, or any plans to catch up with them?
Yeah, we actually were training at the same place as them when we were in Auckland, so they came and watched us train on a couple of the days, which was quite nice. Then obviously got to catch up with them after training. Didn't manage to watch their fixture live, but I watched it on the stream, which was quite frustrating in the end after such a good first half to then watch it slowly get out of their hands in the second half. But yeah, they've got another big fixture against Fiji coming up, so hopefully they can put on a show there. And
obviously we've learned the last couple of days that a couple of the members of the New Zealand squad you went to school with, was it Sarah Harini and Georgia Ponsonby?
Yeah.
How nice is it to have two members of the school you went to here in New Zealand playing at the same World Cup as you?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Me and Gossie, or Sarah, we go back quite a while now. She's very close up with my family and stuff like that. Actually, after the last World Cup, when they beat us, she then came round our house and we had a few drinks. So hopefully this time I'll be the one happier having a few drinks than she will be.
Yeah, have you had any plans to catch up with them yet, or is that kind of reserved till after the last couple of games?
Not yet. Haven't really spoken to them much yet. Kind of just find our feet, and then obviously we're here when I think they're still back in Auckland this week. So maybe when we go back to Auckland, if they're still around, we'll have a catch up.